right, everybody, welcome to One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. It is Monday, November the 6th. I cannot believe that this year is just flying by. We are already in November. Just around the corner is Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then the New Year. There you go. You got stuff to look forward to, but most importantly, we got some good stuff to look forward to tonight. We've got a outstanding student athlete in Kaylee Kempker from Eugene High School. She played on the Lady Eagles softball team, and she has quite the story, but we're not going to spend a lot of time about me sharing any of those things. We'll make sure that we get to bring her on here real quick. But Kaylee was in this last issue, September, October of Sports Locker magazine, and we featured her in there. And as you can tell, she's got some skills right there, stretching for that ball. I tried to help out by replicating, throwing some different things towards her, but it's not the same as a game situation. We really enjoyed getting to meet her, and I hope you get to enjoy hearing what Kaylee has to say tonight too, and get a little bit extra from Sports Locker magazine. And so I'm going to go ahead and not wait any further. Let's go ahead and bring Kaylee on. Hi, Kaylee. How you doing?
Good, you?
I'm doing good. Uh, we really enjoyed getting to meet you and do your photo shoot and interview and all that when we came out there to Eugene. And um, hopefully my son-in-law Jay didn't make you too nervous. I mean, he's kind of a jokester, but we really enjoyed meeting you, and it was your pictures are really awesome. It's lots of color, and we had a lot of fun out there. What did you enjoy about?
Thank you.
Um, yeah, what did you enjoy about having your article in there?
I really just like reading about it and just having it out there for other people that they can see it and read it as well.
Okay. Any autographs?
No, not yet.
All right. Well, we'll just have to tell some people they need to get your autograph. That's what they need to do. So, uh, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, playing softball and at Eugene and how you were able to compete so early? I mean, even as a freshman, you were on varsity. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I've played a lot of softball. Kind of started out with some river league and then joined a competitive team. I think it really helped me knowing the game and being able to come in as a freshman and play on varsity. Most of the time, I would play up a year on my competitive teams just to get more experience. And then also having like a competitive family helped. My brothers always challenged me to play with them, and I've had a competitive cousin as well, and we're just a couple of weeks apart, and we've always tried to outdo each other.
Well, that's good because that's one of the questions we're going to get into a little bit later here and find out a little bit more about that. It sounds like it was pretty intense. Uh, can you walk us through a little bit, like your freshman year? Obviously, you have a lot of upperclassmen, and you're stepping into that role of playing softball. What was that like? And then how were you able to build your confidence going forward?
I really think I did not have a lot of confidence. I know my freshman year for sure. But going in and having supportive seniors and some other supportive teammates really helped out with that.
Good, very good. Did it get easier going into your sophomore and then your junior and senior year? Kind of tell us the progression of how all that went.
Yeah, it got a little bit easier, but I also still knew that I kind of had to still work hard because there were still people out there that could take my spot, and I just had to work hard to still stay out there.
Okay. So talk about taking your spot. So what positions did you play in softball? Different ones that you played, and which one's your favorite?
Well, I mainly play pitcher and first base. I started out, I really liked pitching, but now that I've gotten a little bit older, I've liked first base more. I like to pitch, but injuries kind of pushed me away from that position, and I think first base has got a lot of the action over there, and being 6 foot has helped me out in this position.
So with pitching, did you go to a specific coach? I know, some of the times people go to a different coach and get additional training than what they would get from school. Was there anybody like that that you went to?
Yeah, I went to one of my teammates' sisters, and she helped me out pitching a lot. Probably since I was 14 or 15 going there.
Hmm. Okay. So this is just an off the wall question. Um, so did you throw to your mom or dad? Did you do that?
I
Siblings?
threw to my mom, but she complained a lot after a while, so I had to get my cousin up there, and
Uh-huh.
that was
Oh,
always interesting.
okay. Did you ever get them up there to stand up while you were just practicing pitching with somebody standing up in there, and did you accidentally hit somebody?
Um, I've never had anybody that was I was practicing with, but I do remember my dad standing up there sometimes, and he would tell me that they looked good or
Uh-huh.
what he thought I needed to fix on them.
Okay. Very good. You know, the things that parents will do for their kids, get up there in harm's way as you're smoking that ball in there. That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got quite a few people that are watching. If anybody has any comments or questions for Kaylee, feel free to chime in, and we'll see if we can get those on the air as well. Um, Kaylee, you've started playing at a really young age. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? And when did you know that you loved the sport of softball?
Well, I started out in T-ball and it just kind of clicked for me. But kind of watching my brothers play, I think, is whenever it really started. I would always go to their practices and do what they did all the time at home. And then I started playing competitive and it just kind of grew from there. And then being on a competitive team not only it pushed me to do better, but it also got me to play with other players who were on the same level as me, but also better than me.
So we'll go ahead and ask a couple of questions about that as far as your competitive team. What was the furthest place that you traveled, and did you have some different unique trips, and what did you enjoy about those?
Well, this past year we traveled to Alabama to play in the nationals, and that was definitely an experience. We saw some really good teams down there, and
Hmm.
just kind of got a good feel for each other because we played with each other for so long, and just kind of a vacation as well.
Yeah. Good. And you said that was in Alabama?
Yes,
Okay. Very good. That's a little distance away, so that sounds like that was fun.
yeah,
Um, did your family get to go with you?
yeah. My family went with me.
Okay. See, I can remember that my parents would load the whole family up and they would go to my different baseball tournaments and we would play out in Colorado and they treated that as a vacation and everything, but um I can remember that. It was fond memories of that. And on top of that, my mom and my sisters and pretty much my whole family, they yell really loudly so you can hear them above everybody else. So it's always good to have that consistency. I need to ask that. Who's the one that yells the loudest in your family? Who can you hear above everybody else?
My mom.
Okay. Way to go, Mom. That's good. Make sure she hears what you're telling her. That's great. Kaylee, why don't you go ahead and tell us about your junior year? And you guys had quite a special run. You guys made school history. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we did pretty good. That'll probably be one of my favorite seasons and best memories there. When we came to the district championship game, we knew we had to do everything to beat this team because they were really good. So we got down kind of early in the game and then tied it in the seventh, and then had to go into extra innings. And we just came alive in that eighth inning and scored quite a few runs and held them to win our first district or a district championship that we hadn't won in a while. And then after winning districts, we were able to host quarterfinals, and we had a huge crowd. The support from the community was something that was very unexplainable, and we came determined not to lose. And we held them scoreless, and it was just an amazing feeling. We just didn't want to leave the field.
Yeah.
And going to state was something I'll never forget, even though we didn't really come on top. It was something to definitely an experience for that.
Yeah. Uh, that district title you had, that from what I understand, that was the first time in 17 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good to be a part of that. And then obviously everybody was excited about it and they were out there to cheer you guys on. And, um, I just have to tell you, I put it on the screen here. Your mom says, I knew that was coming. So obviously, thank you, Christy. We appreciate that. Um, it's always good to know that you have people that are supporting you, and it sounds like you got a great support system, and we'll get a little bit more into that. But tell us a little bit about your senior season and what was your mindset going in?
It didn't really go as far as how I wanted it to, but I'm so proud of us as a team. There was a lot of talent on the team, and my mindset going in was just to give it my all and to be a great leader. I knew the weight of pitching was on my shoulders, but I knew I could step it up and do pretty good.
Yeah,
So I worked hard and made sure I practiced a lot on pitches, and I knew I didn't really have high velocity, but I made sure that my pitches moved the way they needed to, and that was my main focus. And I kind of wanted to make sure, as a team leader, to make the sport great for the freshmen coming in. I wanted to make them feel comfortable and not too intimidated because I know how that can feel.
yeah.
And I wanted to let them know that they could be just as good as everybody else out on the field.
How many seniors did you have?
Oh, there was 3 this year.
Hmm. So you're right. There was a lot of weight on your shoulders, and you guys had to set that tone. That's awesome. Uh, so this, I want to know what pitches do you throw? What are the different pitches that you throw?
I have a fastball, I have a changeup, I have a screw, a curve, a drop, and a rise.
Okay. What is that go-to pitch when you're ready to strike somebody out? The one that you
Curve.
take curve? Okay. Very good. I think we had even talked about when we were out there doing your photo shoot, putting Jay up there at the in the batter's box and letting you
Yeah.
strike him out. We didn't do it, but that sure would have been fun to watch. I would have even put that on video and we would have showed that tonight. What standard did you try to set for your teammates, and what did you want to leave the underclassmen with? What do you want them to remember you by?
I wanted to let them know to always push themselves to the next level and that there's always room for improvement. And just to keep working hard out there because, like I said, you never know. Somebody can always take your spot, so work hard to get that spot.
That's great advice. Um, one of the other things I know that you work very hard at your grades, your education. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your high school education, why that's been so important to you, and what have you enjoyed about Eugene High School and attending there?
Kind of like sports, I've always pushed myself to be the best. I know that getting a good education is crucial in developing critical thinking, and I think this kind of teaches us how to use logic when we're making important decisions and interacting with everyone around us. That kind of can go for softball as well.
Hmm. What's your favorite classes or field of study?
Well, right now I attend Eldon Career Center in the morning and do health occupations, and I'm really enjoying that right now.
Hmm. Okay. We talked a little bit before. Nope, I'm not going to ask this question yet. We're going to hold off on that one. Uh, Tell us a little bit about your teachers and faculty there at Eugene, and what have you appreciated about them through the years?
Um, just kind of hearing the positive energy in the hallways, maybe on certain game days. They've always said, stop to tell us, hey, you've got this, and you guys can, you guys will do good at your game tonight.
And you can also tell a little bit about the fan support. Why don't you share about the community and the fan support that you guys have there?
The fan support is always there. They're always there to support us, and I really like that at Eugene because even if there's no seats, everybody just stands kind of around and they don't care. They'll just stand around even if there's not seats, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah. Do you, I know you're obviously focused on the game, but I can remember when I was playing baseball and you could see other kids out there playing off over to the side, trying to emulate what we were doing out on the field. Did you guys have that kind of thing happening out there too?
Yeah, they go in our batting cages all the time and play with the ball or something.
All right. Let's say someday they want to be like Kaylee Kempker. That's what's going on. You should have had them. You should have signed their magazine. You would have had their given them that autograph. All right, Kayla, you're doing an outstanding job. We've flown through this first segment, so I'm going to go ahead and do our sponsor break, and then we'll come back and we'll do segment two. And then at the end of segment two, we're going to go ahead and do a speed round too. Just a few questions of some fun things that we just want to find out a little bit more about you on that too. So don't get nervous. There's nothing hard, and don't hang up on me, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
CNS Business Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, CNS Employment Solutions, they have been a sponsor from the very beginning of Sports Locker Magazine and One Nation and SLM Extra. We really appreciate everything that they do. They match up people with jobs and they match employers with people needing jobs. And they do a lot in our community, and we appreciate everything that they do. Also, we really appreciate coaches and all the hard work that they put into our student athletes. And one of the features that we have is the Coach of the Issue, and that is sponsored by Big Whiskey here in Jefferson City. And coaches like Brett Skinner and so many different ones that we have right here in mid Missouri that are just pouring everything into our student athletes. So we want to just give a shout out to them and thank Big Whiskey for sponsoring that. We are talking to Kaylee Kempker from Eugene High School, and she's had an outstanding career there on the softball team. Been a great role model, and we've really enjoyed talking to her tonight. So we're going to go ahead and continue with the next segment. All right, Kaylee, you're still there. You didn't leave me, so that's good. I didn't scare you off with the speed round. All right, we're ready for the next one. And this one, I would even like if your mom wants to chime in or anybody else, but this was kind of a difficult time for you. But tell us about some of those challenges that you faced with injuries. And what was the rib slipping syndrome? Tell us about that and surgery, all that kind of stuff.
So that is where my bottom ribs on both of my sides are like slipping or moving more than normal, and then they get like stuck underneath of my other ribs.
Hmm.
And this would pinch my nerves and tissues, which was causing all the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so after my sophomore year of basketball, I finally had surgery on my ribs to try to fix the problem. And then they went in and sutured both sides together and hoping that would keep them from slipping. So I had a 2 week recovery time from that, and then I was back to practicing with my competitive team. And then by my junior year, I thought when it was resolved and I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore, but it didn't happen. I was pitching
Mm.
in one of our games that ended up in going into extra innings, and I felt a pop, and then no sooner than I felt that, I knew what had happened, but I didn't want to say anything because my team was relying on me to get them through that game. So I made it through the game, and after my junior season of basketball, they went back in to see what had happened, and after realizing the sutures didn't hold, then needed to be redone. So then they ended up taking out one of my ribs on my right side because they couldn't get it to go back in place. So I was out for 6 weeks after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really had to come back and focus on my core and strengthening it better. And didn't really start pitching until 12 weeks after that surgery. So there's been a lot of ups and downs between then and here, but really just had to fight through that pain.
If anybody's ever had a rib out of place, that is extremely painful. So you were dealing with a lot of pain, weren't you?
Mhm.
And just the movements that you would normally make, even breathing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The recovery and the I guess physical therapy? What kind of things did you talked about strengthening your core, but what kind of things did you have to do for physical therapy to help strengthen that?
I had to do some stretches, just kind of making that mobility a little bit better since I knew I would be pitching again. They didn't really recommend for me to pitch again, but I knew that wasn't really an option for me. So I had to really work on the mobility there and just kind of do some workouts that would strengthen my core a little bit better.
Hmm. Okay, good to have all that behind you, isn't it?
Mhm.
Um, in your article, Kaylee, your mom mentioned um, that you pushed yourself really hard and through those injuries. Where did you get the ability to do that?
I knew I didn't want to miss out on playing, especially my senior year, and I knew if I just kind of laid around and felt sorry for myself, I wouldn't really get anywhere with that. So I kept myself pushing through it, and I had a great support system with my family, friends, and my teammates.
So let's transition right to that. You did such a good job of going into that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your parents and your siblings? What have you learned from your mom and dad, and what do you appreciate about them?
They are my biggest supporters, and my family is a lot to me. They teach me to work hard for what I want and appreciate what I have, and they tell me to never let the little things get to me. They give me guidance and support on anything I do, and they demonstrate the importance of sacrifice and respect. And they push me to do better at everything. And both of my parents are from big families, which gives me a solid ground to stand on. And having a big family really helps in supporting and guiding me along the way.
Yeah. So now tell us about your siblings. Why don't you go ahead and talk about each of them?
My oldest brother is 24, so he's 6.5 years older than me. And he shows up to my games and always makes sure to give me a hard time, but also supports me.
Uh-huh.
And my middle brother, he is 2.5 years older than me. And he played baseball up until his senior year, which was always a challenge for me to see because he was also a pitcher. And we just kind of looked at who could pitch better, and always was a challenge between us.
Hmm. Okay. Um, so you also talked a little bit about um, your brothers and cousins, and you spent a lot of time competing at family gatherings. What did you get from those experiences, and what did they mean to you?
They meant a lot. They were very competitive, always seeing who could do the best and who could do better. They were always fun, obviously, but we could never have just a simple family sport. It was always somebody's got to be better than the other.
And I'm pretty sure they did not take it easy on you, did they?
No,
No, didn't let you win, made you earn it, right?
no. Mhm.
Well, you probably appreciate that now. You probably didn't appreciate it as much at different times, but you probably appreciate it a little bit more now.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So why don't you tell us about your cousins and just I mean how special that time is, spending with them because we don't a lot of times we don't mention our extended family and sometimes these people play a big role in our lives. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, my brothers and I, we would always go out in our yard and we would kind of play catch with each other, hit, and just kind of do the basics with each other. And then my cousin, that he's 2 weeks older than me and or younger than me, and he would always catch me and always tell me, "You need to get your pitch here. I could probably pitch that pitch better.
Uh-huh.
I could probably hit it further than you can." So we would always. It was always good memories, though.
Yeah, that's good. Uh, any other family members that you want to talk about? Um, Share anything about them and what they've meant to you, what you've learned from them?
Um, all of my family's really had an impact on my life. They've always been there to support me, and they've always been there to tell me good game, always there to tell me, hey, maybe you could work on this. I see maybe this could work on.
Okay. In your article, you also talked about your mom coaching you in the River League, but you shared with me that she's been coaching you a long time and a lot of different things. Was that a special
Yeah.
time for you, and what have you appreciated about that?
Yes, it was a special time, and it just meant that we could always share those memories together. And she's taught me so much about each game that I've played. Her passion and drive really inspires me to compete at my best. She's always there to push me to do better and to bring out the best person in me when I can't see it myself. She always tells me to never underestimate my power, and also being a coach's daughter sets kind of higher expectations for me because I've always had a challenge more because I always don't get exactly. We don't see eye to eye, but it's truly worth all of it, and the memories are very priceless.
Yeah. So you didn't see eye to eye on everything. Imagine that. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, after, I mean, probably after a loss or maybe not playing quite as well as what you wanted to. I know for me, one of the last things I wanted to hear was you could have done better than that from somebody else. You probably wanted a little bit of encouragement, didn't you?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go, Mom. Sorry. We just threw that out there. That's just one of the things. And I know I did the same thing with my daughter. And now I feel like, you know what? That's okay. She needed to hear it, and she's a better person for it. So, um, Kaylee, why don't you tell us a little bit about your coaches and what you've appreciated about them and just the things that they've taught you?
I've appreciated all of my coaches, but I would say my freshman year coaches have definitely had the biggest impact on me. Um, my coach my freshman year for softball was Coach Gonzalez, and she helped me get through what, in my opinion, was the hardest year to get through, which was your freshman year. She made me feel better about myself, and she made me a better player all around that year. And she gave me many opportunities and reassured me that I was capable of a lot more than what I thought I was. And then my freshman coach basketball was Coach Brinkman. She told me something, and she told me to stop playing like a freshman, and that just kind of drove me, and always she always pushed me to step up my game a little more to be on that level with everybody else.
That's good. Your mom made a comment, said, "I wouldn't trade it for the world, though," and that those memories are absolutely something that she'll be able to hold on to as well as what you will. I know my dad, when he was still alive, one of the things that he would always talk about was the times that we were out there practicing or going to games or playing a softball league with him, something along that line. So they definitely will mean something on down the road too. Brenda Smith has chimed in and she said that you are doing great, Kaylee. So good to hear from you, Brenda. Thank you for that comment. We got a couple more questions and then we're going to get to the speed round and then we'll let you get to the rest of your evening. But why don't you tell us about this? Because this makes a big difference in high school athletics. Why don't you tell us about your teammates and what you've enjoyed about your experiences with them?
My teammates mean the world to me. We've definitely built a lifetime of friendships there, and they've always impacted me, and they've impacted on who I am today, and they push me to be better and overcoming any of my fears. They always pick me up when I'm down, and they support me through every step along the way, especially on those injuries.
Yeah, because you were wanting to get back at it as quickly as you could, and so you probably definitely needed that encouragement from them, and that they were there supporting you and lifting you up. So that's very valuable. Um, what are some of your funniest memories that you had with your teammates?
Oh gosh. Um, I have a teammate on Crush, and we call her Mario because we tease her and tell her that she runs like Mario. That's probably pretty funny to us because we just tease her about it.
That's great.
Um, yeah, she's pretty funny.
Very good. Um, so last question here before we do the speed round. We talked a little bit about this before the program started, but what are your future plans and what are you wanting to study going to school? Um, and are you wanting to continue your athletic career?
I plan to attend college and hopefully pursue a career in the medical field. I'm not quite sure on which one yet, but I also haven't really decided on a college, but I would like to explore my possibilities of playing softball while I attend college.
Okay. Well, we look forward to that happening, and if you decide and go somewhere and do that, we would love to catch up with you again while you're off at college and see how all that's going. Um, but now, okay, so now we're going to do the speed round. You've done a great job on this other stuff, but this is some fun stuff, and mom or whoever else may chime in because they might know the answer, or they might be able to give us an answer maybe that you didn't think about as well. But after the game, what is your favorite go-to snack? And I mean, this is what you really wanted to eat after a tough game or a workout.
It really depends on where I'm at, because if it's school ball, it's probably something from the concession stand. I don't really know what. Um, After competitive, it's probably any fast food place that we can get to.
You're just you pretty much are good with wherever we go, right?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, how about sour candy? Do you like sour candy?
Yes.
Anyone in particular, a particular brand?
I like the nerd cluster balls. Those are
Okay.
really good.
Okay. Very good. Uh, Now this one here, what chore do you most dislike doing around the house?
Laundry.
Laundry. Okay. The folding part?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was always the worst one. I didn't like that either. Um, Mom, any other chores that she doesn't like doing? Just throwing that out there. Um, if you
Uh,
could, if you could go anywhere in the world, Kaylee, where would that be and why?
oh gosh. I think I would go back to Alaska. That was a really fun trip that we did, and there was a lot to see. We only did a cruise though, and I would like to go inland and see a
Hmm.
little bit more what's
Okay.
inside.
What were some of the, your mom said mostly all of them. Oh, that's good. So when you were up in Alaska and doing that, what were some of the things that you saw that were just really, really caught your, I know the glaciers and all that kind of stuff, but what was really the highlight of that trip?
Really, well, we went with our cousins, so I had them all the time while we were there, and we went whitewater rafting inland one
Okay.
day. We got off of our boat and we went there, and that was really fun to do.
Hmm. So you didn't go inland, so you didn't get to see any grizzlies, right?
No.
No. Okay. I wouldn't want to be up close with that anyway. Did you get to see any whales, orcas, anything like that?
I think we maybe seen them one day. We were traveling all day one day, and I think we looked out and seen them one day, but I think that's about it.
Hmm. Okay. You guys were focused on the good food on that cruise, weren't you?
Yes.
All right, good. Kaylee, if there's a superhero or Marvel character, DC, whatever, is there one that you would say most resembles you when you get on the pitching mound, the mentality of that person?
Hmm. I don't know. I think in my writing I put Elastic Woman because everybody says I just have long legs, long arms, and can stretch really far out.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good choice. Um, one last thing here, we're going to ask you this. If there's anything that you could do over again with your high school career, what would that be and why?
I think my senior year of softball season, because it was really fun, and just to experience that again would be very fun as well.
Okay. Kayla, you've done an outstanding job, and it's been good to get to have you on here. And I appreciate everybody making all their comments and um, getting to hear some extra stuff from mom. That's always good. Uh, if you'll hold on until after the program's over, I'll close us out real quick and then quickly visit with you afterwards. And really appreciate having you come on here tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be right back with you. All right, we have been talking tonight to Kaylee Kempker from the Eugene Lady Eagles softball team. She is an outstanding young lady, and she had a competitive drive, but yet she was a quiet and a humble leader. And I think you could tell that by our conversation. Doesn't seem to be somebody that's going to brag about herself a lot, but she's going to work hard and she's going to give her all. And so it's really a good thing to have teammates like that. And I know that Kaylee's going to do well in whatever she does. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And this is One Nation Sports Locker Magazine Extra. Until next week, God bless you, and we'll see you then.